Back, the chair now calls upon the patient gentleman from West Virginia, Mr. McKinley, for 5 minutes.
Very patient, very patient. Thank you, Mr.
Very patient.
Mr. Chairman, given the aftermath and all the discussion here we've had about the natural disasters we've had in Florida, Texas, Louisiana, and Puerto Rico, I really want to applaud Department of Energy's efforts to refocus the narrative and the discussion about reliability and resiliency, because it really it underscored how serious that problem is if we don't address it. So thank you for what you're doing, and for Secretary Perry for focusing on that, because I think that can have some impact. So, but my question, a little along the same line, has to do with the petrochemical industry in the Houston and Louisiana, all the Gulf Coast, where we were so hard hit when that Category 4 hit there, that it wiped out or shut down 17, I think there are 23 crackers down in that area. 17 of them were shut down. One of them is still out. 60% of our production of polyethylene and propylene were lost for a period of time. It showed how vulnerable we are in that area. So, and I know that in contact with folks that have reached our office, that because of that slowdown, because of the lack of cracker facilities to be able to provide the ethylene and propylene around the country, that companies all across America that use their plastic resins are slowing down as a result. One company particularly in my district was working 7 days a week. It's now down to 5 because they can't get the plastics. So this thing is serious about it. So what we've done, or what I think DOE maybe has an interest, I'd like to hear more from you, is that rather than taking a page from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve of having it all in one location, what if we were to locate an ethane storage up in the northern Appalachian area, right where the Marcellus and the Utica shale formations are located, so that we could have a secondary supply, a secondary source, to be able to provide that for the petrochemical supplies material for around the country. Do you have a thought about that from DOE's position, where they may be on having a secondary? It's not replacing Houston by any stretch. It's just having something that is in another location, so it's not vulnerable to weather.
So, Congressman, you bring up an important issue: location, location, location. Diversity is very important. And as we look at any sort of, whether it's fuel product, chemical product, having and thinking about having flexibility in where that product is developed also looks at our security and resilience for the nation. So I understand that in the Appalachian area, there is a lot of natural gas resources, and a byproduct of natural gas and the ability is ethane. And so I know that the Secretary had a roundtable discussion and is looking at the opportunity, but it brings up the important point that we need to think about diversity and I wanted to say generation diversity, but product diversity in the United States.
Ms. Huffman, following up on that, is that during last year's appropriation process, our office had introduced an amendment to the appropriation bill to see that a study was undertaken to confirm whether or not there was a interest or possibility and potential for having it in the Marcellus and the Utica shale formations. Do you know what that's been since I think it was made? Do you have a sense? You give me a status on how far along, if that has been undertaken yet, to make that determination of the feasibility of locating a secondary ethane storage?
So I understand the department is undertaking a study in this area, and it is my understanding that the study will be completed in 2018.
Okay. Do you have an idea when in 2018, in December, or is that going to be in September or October?
I don't have that.
Okay.
I will get back to you on that
If you could get
answer.
back to me, I'd appreciate it, and I yield back. Thank you.